Hello, everybody. This is Robin Leslie with onlytheinspired.com. We are on day 20 of the onlytheinspired.com Coach Summit, and I am super excited about today. I have two amazing coaches on totally different spectrums on their coaching skills, and I am super excited to bring that up today. So, just if you're just now tuning in and you haven't quite been following the Coach Summit, my name is Robin Leslie, and I have created onlytheinspired.com, which is a coaching platform. So I created a place where, oh, that's weird. I created a place where you could get access to coaches from every niche to help you through life, to help you through your darkest times, to help you get healthy, to help you actually raise your life to the highest point you've ever been, to find your passion, to just live a life that's completely fully alive. And I am super excited to share this with everybody, and I am not sure why. Go live. All right. In the group, it is not going live for some reason. I don't know why it's not doing that, but that's okay. We will play it again in a little bit. So anyways, I am going to bring on our first coach, and we have the beautiful Michelle Nance. And so she is helping those teachers on the front line in today's school system. And obviously we know that school is just it is a really rough place right now. It's a rough place, here, like right now, school's not in. They closed school today because of air quality, but I know there's kids are going to school 3 days a week and then doing virtual a couple days, and it's different all throughout the country. And so I love that Michelle is there helping those teachers in, the difficulties of everyday teaching. It's so, teaching isn't an easy job to begin with. And then in today's world, oh my gosh, it's so much harder. So, hello, Michelle. How are you doing?
Hello, Robin. I am doing awesome.
Yay. So, where are you at? You are in Houston,
Texas. So we actually got a cool reprieve. It was 73 this morning for a little while. So we enjoyed it for the hour or two we had it, and we'll be backed up to 110 by probably now.
And then what's the humidity there? Because I know it's
about 90 or more, give or take. Depends on the day, but it's pretty humid, yes, which is why I have such glowing skin. They said the humidity is great for your skin. So,
yeah, I've been in Houston a couple times and just got eaten alive by mosquitoes. It was crazy how many mosquitoes were there, and that was a long time ago. Probably 16 years ago. But yeah, Texas is beautiful though. It's huge.
It is huge. Yes. It's like its own little country.
It's like, yeah, well, and it's actually bigger than, I think Texas is bigger than all of UK.
Oh, really?
Of the UK. Yeah. And if you look at it on a map, I think it is. And that has several countries all in it, which is interesting. So, I wonder, what I was going to say, I wonder if we should stop this and restart it. It's not going live in our group for some reason, but that's okay. We'll just share it. We'll just do a watch party in there. I don't know why that's doing that, but StreamYard's awesome. So we're using StreamYard. So I'm actually going live in 6 places right now.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, which is very cool, but it's not going live in our Facebook group, but that's okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but that's all right. We'll just do a watch party and make that happen. Actually, since we're here, I wonder if I should start that. I'm going to start a watch party right now. So that's going live. And I'm sorry, everybody, technological issues. But I definitely want to go live there. So and be patient with me, everybody. All right. So, anyways, talk to me, Miss Michelle, as I'm trying to go live in here.
I am super excited, Robin, because I am doing a Facebook challenge the 1st of September for some teachers, just some simple low-tech hacks to help them teach math in the classroom. And I'm doing a webinar, free webinar, both of those are free, for administrators on just how to develop and maintain cohesive teams during this uncertainty. So I'm super excited about the webinar for administrators on September 3rd, and then the Facebook Live challenge the first week in September for teachers. So just some simple things to give teachers to be able to teach how they've been teaching using the strategies that they're familiar with, and to really be able to see the kids' math and their thinking. So super excited about both of those events at the beginning of September.
Awesome. Well, and I think it's great that you work with both teachers and administrators, because you've been on both sides of that spectrum.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I think in today's world, people are getting a whole new appreciation for teachers, right?
Yes.
When they're having to step in and, help their kids at home, when a lot of times it's like, all right, the kids are off to school, we'll let the teachers do all that work, and now the parents are taking on that responsibility. And I think not that it's good, but I think hopefully people will have a whole new appreciation for teachers, because I wouldn't have wanted to sign up for that job.
I'm a teacher, and I wouldn't want to sign up for teaching my boys. And they're not my kids. Teaching your own kids is very different.
Right.
Somebody else's kids. But the teachers are really stepping up to the plate and trying to create ways to do lessons to really help out. It's just difficult not being in close proximity to the kids.
Right. And you said you're helping 7 new teachers who are just now brand new to teaching.
Yes, brand new to teaching, never taught before. Stepping into the classroom right now. So working with them to just help them navigate not only teaching, but teaching in the pandemic. So that's I like that. That's exciting for me, because they're going to change and influence so many kids in the future of our country. So it's exciting.
Absolutely. And you're getting in there when the going's tough, not when it's easy. You're getting in there right in the thick of things.
Yes, and that's what I want to do. I want to be that support and help them and make their job easier and more enjoyable. That's just my passion. They work so hard. I just want to help them.
Awesome. That's beautiful. Okay, so we are gonna play Miss Michelle's interview, and then we're gonna bring her back up for questions and answers. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Let us know where you're coming in from, and then I will bring her up, and we will do more questions and answers. And then I will bring up Miss Julia Baxter, and she is a branding coach, and so I'm super excited about that interview also. So here we go. Miss Michelle, mute your microphone, and then I will see you here shortly. Okay? All right. Hello, everybody. This is Robin Leslie with onlytheinspired.com. And today we are here with the beautiful Michelle Nance. And so let's find out a little bit more about what she does. She's in the educational field, which we all need help with our kids and everything like that. So in a couple of minutes, describe who you are and how you help people.
I help people. I guess I want to share with you a story about Kara. So one day I was sitting with Kara and tears just formed in her eyes. She was looking at her scores, looking at her data, and her kids just were not performing. Her voice started cracking and she said, Michelle, I don't know what to do. I'm frustrated. I'm struggling at home. I don't know how to teach the kids. I just want to quit. Then she was quiet. I tear up when I think about just the pain and the turmoil that she was going through. And my heart just broke for her. And it broke for her because I knew it could be different. It didn't have to be that way. And so I set out to coach Kara. We made some changes with her classroom. I wanted to just reignite her passion for education again, for her love of learning, instructing the kids. So we sat down and we looked at what her concerns were, what her needs were. We kind of mapped out a plan, and her mindset just shifted. She just realized, I can do this. I can learn, I can change. There's things I can do. And by the end of the school year, Kara was outscoring almost the whole district. And it was a high poverty school that we were in. She was energetic. She was having fun at school. She was having fun at home. You know, as educators, we juggle a lot. We have kids' social emotional needs. We juggle parent and teacher concerns. There's always emergencies, fires to put out. Politics are always bleeding into our classroom or our campuses. And we have our own personal lives too. Mm-hmm. For years, I've been coaching teachers and administrators while educating, being an administrator, being a teacher, being at central office. I've been an administrator at a high school, a middle school. Recently, I stepped back into the classroom because I just felt such compassion for teachers. They were telling me it wasn't the same. I didn't understand what it was like anymore. And I really felt like I needed that experience. I needed to see, was it really different? And it was. And I've presented at national and regional conferences. I've attended trainings to be principal mentors. I'm a certified personal coach, executive coach. And so I've done a lot. And people keep coming to me asking, how do I stay energetic? How do I stay positive? How do I do it? Being a mom, I have 2 children and 2 stepchildren that we raise. We have 7 grandkids, and I love life, and I want teachers to love life and stay in education. You know, I want them to have the same empowerment Kara got. I want them to be excited about teaching again. Our kids are the future, and our kids deserve great teachers. And I don't want teachers leaving the teaching field because they're burnt out.
Right. It takes a certain soul to become a teacher.
It does.
I had a hard time with 2 kids, let alone 36, or you know what I mean? That's crazy. I can't imagine the pressure that teachers go through. So how did you get started? And so was that your first coaching? It just kind of fell into your lap, or how did you kind of focus on helping?
Kara was not my first coaching, but a friend of mine said, Michelle, we need to go to dinner. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? And she said, you know, people keep coming to you. You're working long hours because when somebody knocks on your door after school, you'll stay and coach them. You'll stay and help them. And you're working like 3 jobs, even though I was really only working 1. And she said, you need to decide, you know, if you're going to keep helping people, you need to do that full time. And so that started the wheels. And so I decided this past year to step out and do this full time instead of doing it in addition to everything else I was doing. So it kind of evolved over time, but I would say this past year, just deciding I needed to do it.
And if there's any years that teachers need help, 2020 is it.
I made this decision before COVID hit. So it's perfect timing.
Totally perfect timing. I love what you're doing because I know a lot of teachers, and it's not the easiest. It's not an easy job at all. So describe your ultimate vision for your business.
So my ultimate vision is just to lift teachers up, to support teachers. I remember leaving campus at the end of the day and feeling drained, like I couldn't even make it to my car. I had a bag of papers I needed to grade or a bag of reports I needed to finish. And teaching is not a 9-to-5 job, 8 to 4, like people think it is, and summer's off. So I want to support educators. I want them to be passionate about teaching. I want them to feel empowered. Teachers shape our future. I mean, really, if you think about it, the future is in their classroom. And if nobody's supporting them, they're doing it alone, and nobody should have to do anything alone. We need a community. They need support. They have superpowers, and I want to help them find their superpowers and use them.
That's awesome. Yeah, and they absolutely need support. Absolutely need support. And, you know, I think there's a whole new appreciation after this year when kids got forced to be at home and work from home. There's a whole new appreciation for teachers.
I was teaching this past year, and so trying to teach remotely, kids not having computers, having to work through that, deliver packets, drop off packets at school, taking pictures, getting, you know, assignments through my phone, online, just connecting with them, making sure they were okay. It was demanding, and it was rewarding because at the end of the year, this past year, we had this huge celebration with a drive-by. So we got some cutouts of Star Wars characters, and the teachers all social distance and had pom-poms, and parents decorated their cars and they drove through, and we gave them little signs that says you're a super gator, and a little bag of treats. So it was a good ending. It was good.
That's awesome. Yay. Good. So what was the hardest thing to overcome when starting your business?
I think the hardest thing to overcome was making the decision to do it full time. But if anybody knows me, I am not the person out front and center. I will work hard behind the scenes, but I'm really not, I don't talk a lot about myself. So to get out there and say, I'm doing this, you know, contact me is huge for me. Mm-hmm. So really getting out of that comfort zone of just being able to stay behind the scenes has been huge.
And you did it because you know you can make a difference, because you know.
I did, yes. And that's, I've been going through this program, Accelerate Your Reach, right? And it's just really helped me think about the teachers who are out there that need support. And thinking about them has given me and empowered me. So I want to pay it forward.
Oh, that's awesome. That's beautiful. So do you have the support network of friends and family going, you know, this is something you need to do? Or are they shocked that you left the actual, you know, teaching school business to do this? Or is this something you feel compelled to do no matter what anybody says?
I feel compelled to do it no matter what anybody says, but my family is awesome. So my husband is my hero. He is like Ben and Hur in the story of Moses that held up Moses' arms when he got tired. And my kids are my cheerleaders. Like if I ask them to proof my website or help me with the technology because I don't know how to do something in Zoom, they're Johnny on the spot. So they are phenomenal. I couldn't do it without them, and I wouldn't want to. So they are a huge support to me, yes.
Oh, that's awesome. Yay. So what is your favorite thing about your business?
My favorite thing about my business? I think that's sitting and talking with educators and hearing their stories and really learning what they're passionate about and using that passion and that strength to reignite their fire. Getting them to know that they have goals and dreams and they don't have to give them up. They can go for them and they don't have to be Wonder Woman. One year, one of the teachers on my campus gave me a little Wonder Woman doll. And I thought, she said, "You're just Wonder Woman. You do it all." And I'm thinking, really, I don't. It may look like I do, but nobody can do it all. So it's helping them understand what it is that they want and what is front and center and just how to juggle all of that. There's really not, I hear, we need a balance. I don't believe you can balance. I believe there's times where you work hard in one thing and maybe something else is not front and center, and then you switch and something else is front and center. And that's just how life goes. It's a cycle. If I constantly try to juggle and make sure I'm spending 25% of my time in every area, I wear myself out, because there's just times in life where something's going to take a little bit more precedence.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Just knowing how to do that.
Good. So what inspires you? What are you passionate about? And it doesn't have to be business.
Oh, good. If you want to know what I'm passionate about, I am passionate about my grandkids and my husband. So that is probably, I love my kids, but you're a grandma, you understand completely what I'm saying. You get to love on them, snuggle them, spoil them, and then send them back.
Bye-bye.
But, the other day, my grandson came to visit, and he told his parents that he was going to start living with Nani and Grandpa, and they could go on and go home, but he was staying here. And that just thrilled my heart. So I think my grandkids, my husband, I do love to travel. And my sister and I take trips, to Florida, to Maine, to California. We were actually in California. I was supposed to speak at a conference, a national conference, the week of spring break, and landed in California, Los Angeles, and heard the conference was canceled. So my sister and I just got a great vacation in LA. So traveling is awesome.
What's your favorite place you've been to?
I think my favorite place I've been to is Maine in Algonquin. And that's mainly the connection I have with my mom and sister there. So I think that's probably my favorite place. It has the ocean, it has mountains. What else do you need?
Well, go there in the warm months, probably. So who inspires you? You kind of talked about your husband and your kids. Is there anybody else that inspires you?
I think my mom. So my mom inspires me. She's overcome so many obstacles, and she always did it with love and laughter. My youngest son's a lot like her. She's never met a stranger. We would go in the grocery store and she would know everybody. It'd take us 3 hours. I hated going grocery shopping with her. But she always had time for people. She always loved them. And I just want to be like her. She inspires me. And then I've been studying the book of Acts and writing a devotional for educators. And Paul nothing stopped him. He was unhindered. And that's what I want to be. So I think probably those, in addition to the ones I've already shared, inspire me a lot.
That's awesome. Yay. So last question. Are you getting feedback on your side?
No.
I feel it. I hear it a little bit. So if you could leave one tip or golden nugget for the people listening, and it was the only thing you could say and your only chance to say it, what would that be? That
you, teachers, educators, you're a superhero and you have superpowers. And I would love to partner with you to tap into that to help you live your dream. You have it. I just want to help you find it and use it, and just be all you can.
I love that. And I do believe that they're superheroes. They take on 30 plus kids at a time. And, besides the parents, I think they're the biggest influence on, young people. And, I love that you're helping them to enjoy it more, to actually, because it could be a very frustrating thing with, test scores, and you have to, have certain numbers in order for you not to get in trouble or whatever. So I love that you're doing that, because teachers are so needed, and good teachers you never forget.
You don't.
And they are a huge inspiration and can be, and I love that you're helping to inspire them. I think that's beautiful.
So when I was growing up, share one last story with you, if you have a minute.
Sure.
Okay, so I want to share one last story with you. So my earliest memory of school is walking home from kindergarten and my mother picking me up and telling me we were moving away and my parents were getting a divorce. And so we moved thousands of miles away, and I had to live with my grandmother while my mom and sisters lived with my uncle. My sister was born with a terminal illness, so she was in and out of the hospitals a lot, and we eventually moved into the projects outside of Boston. My mom was the first one in her family to graduate high school because she comes from a family of immigrants, and my dad never graduated high school. So when I, as an educator, look at all those statistics, I think, how did I do it? How did I make it? How did I get my master's degree? How did I achieve what I did? And I look back and I see teachers in my life who created this hope in me that I could overcome all these obstacles, that I had it within me to do it. And that's really what inspires me to help teachers, because they can do that for kids. And I know they want to. That's why they went in education. And you're right, they get tired from the tests, the demands. And I want them to give that to other students, to give that defiant hope to them that they can overcome whatever they have right now. And that's just what I want to help them do that.
That's beautiful. Yay. And I love that you're doing that. Yay. So is there anything else that you would like to share before you talk about your giveaways? And you have a couple of them.
I do have a couple of them. So I went into the classroom. I went back into the classroom after being an administrator in central office for years. And I sat in the lounge. You know, you always have the back to the school State of the Union meeting. And I was all pumped up. I'd been to some professional development. I had my strategies. I mean, I was so pumped, so excited. And I heard only 47% of your kids passed the state assessment last year. And I thought, I did not hear that right. That's not right. And so I'm looking up at the screen and I still can't believe that's right. So I created these strategies, these research-based strategies that are easy to implement. My kids, 97% of them passed at the end of the year. So I have a free giveaway, some strategies. It's not all of them, but it's 4 or 5 that will really help empower you in your classroom and give you a good kickstart. So I have that freebie.
You have that.
As an administrator, I was over a 6A high school. If you're not familiar with numbers and letters that go with high school, that just means it's really large, like almost 4,000 students. And we created some strategies to help coach teachers and help teachers be successful. So tools that administrators can use to really empower them to do the work that they need to do to support teachers. So there's a couple of strategies on the front page of my website for administrators. And then there's a math website, math link page, and there's the math freebie on the math page. So 2 great resources for empowering educators and helping you get started.
Beautiful. And so they're going to go to, is that the www.nanceeducationalsolutions.com?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That is where they're going to go.
So that website again is Nance, Nance, educational, educal, solutions, solutions.com. And then she'll have those 2 giveaways, and one's the strategies for teachers in the classrooms, and the other one's strategies for administrators working with the teachers, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I love that. And I love that you're helping teachers, and they are the unsung heroes. You know, they don't get enough credit when they deserve so much credit and a big fat raise.
Well, they
super big
argue with that.
Yeah, they are dealing with so many other people's kids all at once for, several hours in a day. And it takes amazing patience and, a big heart to do it. And they, signed up to be teachers for a reason. And I love that you're trying to make it more enjoyable for them and where they actually want to stay in education and be the inspiration for the kids. I love what you're doing. I think it's awesome.
You.
Yes. So thank you everybody for being here. Please share this video if you know teachers. We all know teachers, but share the video because teachers really, they need some support and sometimes they don't actually get that from their school or there's politics or whatever. So this is somebody who's been there, done that on, inside the classroom and the administrative side, and she could really help. So please make sure you share this video. And Michelle, again, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Robin. I think what you're doing is awesome. This Only Inspired coaching is phenomenal.
Thank you very much.
You've worked hard. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad you're here. So thank you, everybody, and we will see you next time. Okay.
All right.
So, what was that like for you to watch the interview?
That was weird because, like I said, I'm not the person who's out front and center. So hearing that and seeing it on live was, it was interesting. It was different.
Right.
So yeah, it was good though.
So what can you give us some idea of what some of the biggest struggles that teachers deal with, especially new teachers? Is it just actually getting in the classroom and being in charge, after going to school and not actually stepping in the classroom? Once they step into the classroom, is that the biggest challenge, or what are the biggest challenges?
I think one of the biggest challenges is teachers kind of teach the way they learn. A lot of time we hear the expression, teachers teach the way they were taught, but they really teach the way they learned. And so there's kids of all different personalities and modalities, and needs, and it's really hard. It's sometimes like playing whack-a-mole where you're trying to, teach kids who are visual, teach kids who are auditory learners. So how do you do all of that? And that's one of the reasons I kind of came up with Monster Math Strategies, is because there's strategies where you can combine several of those things. So you're hitting several modalities with one strategy. So you're kind of capturing all those kids. Another struggle that teachers have going into the classroom is they remember what it was like when they were in school. And so most teachers were in the advanced classes, or were in the classes where the behavior was not so much of an issue. So I hear teachers say all the time, well, this wasn't a behavior issue when I went to school. But if you look at how many kids dropped out of school back when I went to school, or back when you went to school, that rate was really high. So it wasn't that kids weren't like that. They just weren't there in school. They went and worked in the factories, or they went, and they were helping their families on the farm, or, some other type of work. So just really learning how to work with students behaviorally with classroom management. And it's not just discipline, it's just managing 30 personalities at one time. And how do you do that and have that control and that presence? So I would say those are probably two of the biggest when you walk into the classroom.
Right. So from an outsider's view, I think from my perspective, I think a couple of the biggest issues for teachers now, and some of this is coming from teachers, is they loved teaching until the No Child Left Behind thing came. And then also at the same time, like when I was in 5th grade, the principal of the school had Big Bertha. It was a big old paddle with holes in it. And so you respected your teacher. If you didn't, you got sent to the principal's office. But if you really acted up, then you'd actually get paddled. And then, not saying that's the way it should be, but there was authority from the teachers and from the principals. And now with the, I think you guys had that authority kind of taken away from you.
It definitely is different with the classroom management and what can be done and not done as far as discipline. That definitely has some dynamics, but there are strategies that you can use that engage the kids so that those behaviors are minimal. I'm not going to say they don't exist, because if I did, then everybody who's out there teaching is going to know I was never in the classroom. Because I'm telling you, from the past 3 years, they exist. But there are techniques to help with that. And as far as No Child Left Behind, I think that's one of the things I heard the most of when I was an administrator is, you don't know what it's like because now we have to follow all these rules and we have to do all these things. But you can actually still have fun and develop great lessons, even though you have that accountability. So one of the things I did when I was teaching science is we created a Harry Potter lab that talked about density, and the kids got to mix magical potions, and we labeled the elements, different names from Harry Potter, and really gave them that understanding of density with that activity, which density was a skill. It was tested on the STAR test, which we have down here in Texas. But we made it a fun lab. So it's really trying to find out how you can teach what you're passionate about, what I said before, and put strategies in place that are effective, that help really gain that advancement of knowledge that aren't dry. And so that's really what I want to help teachers do.
Right. Well, and what you said before about the different modalities. So I'm one of those, and I know at least my youngest has struggled when the teacher only talks and it's like a lecture and there's nothing to look at. I'm one of those where I like to hear it, but I like to see it at the same time. Otherwise, it's like, what did you say?
Yeah.
It goes in one ear and out the other, and some are physical, they're tactile. And so, yeah, I think it's really important if they could do all three of those at the same time, if possible. But yeah, so some it's like, I'm going to lecture, I'm going to talk about this and this without writing on the board or any of that. And then so you lose a lot of the classroom because they're not able to follow, or it doesn't stick because they're not actually doing that.
Yes. There's actually a lot of brain research about how your brain works and how we've kind of adapted because of the technology, because we're so inundated with so much reading, how we just skim read it now, and how, before we had to memorize phone numbers. And you don't really think about this a lot, but that was one way that people built their working memory. And we're not doing anything like that anymore. So when your working memory decreases, that really impacts how you learn. And so we don't really connect those two things together of how I can help with working memories, and then that's going to build my knowledge and my ability to do it. So you just using all of that together and just making people aware of how one thing leads to another and how you can build on it and make it fun. We used to play a game called Gators in my classroom, where the kids thought they were playing a game, but I was really working on working memory, where they had to add numbers and manipulate them in their head, because we don't store numbers and phone numbers and remember stuff and spit that out like we did a long time ago because of technology. So just creating fun and interesting ways to help them learn, and helping administrators help teachers. So.
Right. And so what is the biggest struggle with the administrators in trying to help teachers? What, from that perspective?
So I think some struggles is, number one, teachers start doubting themselves because, like what you're saying about the testing. So when the results come back and you have, when the results came back and 90% of my kids were passing, the state assessment, yes, I celebrated the 90%, but I really hyper-focused on the 10% that didn't. So teachers tend to self-doubt. They tend to, want everything to go perfectly because they're overachievers. So there's that dynamic that you're trying to help support the teacher. But the kids' social emotional needs nowadays is really large. I just got done reading the book Educated. Have you read it?
Mm-mm.
So I just got done reading that, and Tara went through a horrible ordeal. Like, it's a true story. I'm going to hear her speak next month. But I can't even imagine going through the fact of, she was homeschooled. Her dad was bipolar. Just the things that she went through. And I think there's kids in my classroom, while they didn't go through everything she went through, they did experience a lot of what she dealt with. And so just dealing with the kids' social emotional needs and not really having the resources in the school to help meet those needs. Mm-hmm. So I think those are some big issues.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, because you're mixing all personality types,
Mm-hmm.
all learning types, and then you're also mixing in little ADHD, little ADD, little and people that are kids that are dealing with massive home drama and also school drama. And school drama, I don't think school drama really kicks in that much until middle school and then high school.
You'd be surprised what happens in elementary school. But there's a lot of drama. You're right. There's a lot of drama at schools.
Yeah. And it's hard, and kids can be mean. And so, I praise teachers. It's such a tough gig, but rewarding. And like I said in the video, it needs to be much more rewarded financially.
Yeah. So couple of things I'm doing just to help teachers right now, especially during COVID, and administrators, is I'm offering 2 sessions of coaching, so they can go on my website and register for that. And those are free. Did I say free? And then the webinar I'm doing for administrators and the math challenge for teachers, both free. I just want to support teachers right now, and administrators, educators, as they really start to get on some good footing as school starts. So just anything I can do to support them right now. While they're, in this pandemic time, like I said, and a lot of them, while they may still have a job, their spouse may not. So just to help them financially and emotionally with that. So both of those are available on my website. They can go on, it's on the front page, and just click register and sign up for that.
And so that's different than the strategies for teachers and then the strategies for administrators.
I've been working hard since I last talked to you.
Nice. And that's only been 3 weeks.
Yes, just trying to create some resources and some availability to really help educators right now as they're kickstarting the year, just hearing their anxiety and their concerns and just being able to support them.
Awesome. And they would get all of that just by going to the nanceeducationalsolutions.com. Mm-hmm. And it's all on the front page where they're going to list that. I think that's super helpful. Yeah, that is beautiful. Super helpful. Awesome. Awesome. Is there anything else that you would like to share?
Just that I'm available and I want to help. So that's all. I mean, I know they're working hard, so I'm not wanting to give them more work. I'm wanting to help them and give them resources to kind of lighten the load. So
absolutely. And that would be awesome because school is just starting. I know it just started here this week. And it's different all across the country, but yeah, you're an angel for helping them. Yes. Awesome. I appreciate you so much. And just to let everybody know, she's got 6 or 7 courses to help teachers and administrators. So I hope you guys take her up on that, especially, obviously if you're in that field, we could use all the help we could get. Because it's a very tough and challenging time right now. Awesome. And so I just want to talk a little bit about onlytheinspired.com before Miss Julia comes. So you can hang out if you want, Michelle, or so just throwing this out there. So in the onlytheinspired.com Coach Summit group is where I'm going to have all of the contact information for all of the coaches. And so under the announcements, I think there's 4 or 5 announcements. You'll see a guy going like this and it says giveaway. So that's where you're going to go and you're going to find Michelle and Julie and all of the other coaches, that's where you're going to find their giveaways. And then another beautiful thing about the Coach Summit is all of the coaches are actually in the group. And so you could look them up in the members right then and there and say, hey, Michelle, I need to find out more. Or can we, I have a couple questions. You could do that. And I love that they're available. They're there in the group, which is awesome.
Thank you.
Yes. And so make sure that you go under that announcements tab, and it's all done by day. So this is day 20, and then you will find the coach and what their giveaway is, or you could even search it in the search tab. Just put in Michelle Nance, and all of her posts and everything will come up, which is awesome. Yay! So like I said, I want to talk a little bit more about onlytheinspired.com, and what so many of these coaches talk about is not knowing where their passion is. And if almost all of the 70 coaches are saying the same thing, how many people out there in the world are struggling with the same thing? And so wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to go to one place where you have access to all of these coaches that finally found their thing that lights them up, that their thing that they want to spread the message with as many people as possible. And that's what onlytheinspired.com is. And it's like a Netflix style. And so you could search coaches by category or by the coaches. And then there's also courses, and then there's live group coaching. So we have all sorts of different things. Plus we have that community of people who are all going forward in life. They're all trying to better their lives, trying to get healthy, trying to heal from their past, trying to grow their business, trying to launch a business, or just connecting with other people where you can have those mind expanding ideas. And that to me is so fun. That is one of the reasons why I am loving this Coach Summit, not only sharing the value of coaching, but to have those conversations that people don't have on a regular day-to-day business, day-to-day thing where, we get to talk about sometimes our biggest fears. And we all have fears, whether or not we talk about them, and some of our biggest dreams and our visions for life. And, if I could do that all day long, I would absolutely do that all day long. It's so much fun to, dream and to think as big as possible, or just to connect with, that one person. If she could help, those brand new teachers be successful, and then that's a total ripple effect, not only with their existing students, but all of the students from here on out. And that is such a huge ripple effect with anything that we do. And so connecting with a huge community of coaches and entrepreneurs and people who are just inspired and excited about life, the ripple effect goes on and on and on. Just like, the teachers that inspired her and the teachers that inspired me. And so I remember my first grade teacher, Mr. Cole, and that was a couple years ago. And you have those teachers that make a lasting impact. And I know Ian Mannheimer talked about one of those teachers yesterday. And we all have those people, whether it's a teacher or a coach or somebody that helped you heal, when you could surround yourself by all those people who are truly there to bless you with their knowledge and their heart and support and lift you up. Yay, what more can you ask for, huh?
Awesome.
Yeah. So I am super excited about everything. What was I gonna ask you something, Michelle. So how long have you been in the teaching industry?
I don't want to say my age. 33 years.
33 years? You started when you're 6.
I did.
See?
I really don't care my kids in my class used to say, how old are you? And I'm like, you're not supposed to ask a woman their age. I ask my mom all the time, and I'm like, okay, so that isn't a rule anymore. But anyway, yes, I've been doing it for quite a while.
That's awesome. And so what made you want to be a teacher?
Actually, when I was in high school, my high school counselor, I've always wanted to be a teacher, but when I was in high school, my high school counselor told me that I was too good in math and science and I needed to go into the medical field. So I went to nursing school, and I was getting ready to start my senior year. And the advisor sat with me and said, okay, so you have to do a practicum. What do you want to do a practicum in? And I said, well, school nursing, because I want to be able to educate the kids, or community nursing, because I want to educate and be proactive in the community. And he said, why aren't you in teaching? And I said, well, my high school counselor told me I needed to go into the medical field. He says, you need to get over to that education college and enroll. So I switched majors my senior year of college, and I've not looked back. I've loved it. It's what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's kind of my journey.
It's interesting how one person can influence your life like that.
Yes, and he was a great. I mean, I was very shy in high school, like very shy. I didn't talk to anybody, and when I did talk, my neck, face, everything was red. But he helped me. Like, I started out managing the volleyball team where I didn't have to talk a lot. And I ended up getting a letter jacket by the end of my sophomore year because of how much he pushed me into different activities to get me involved in school, because my high school was pretty large. So I owe him a lot. He impacted my life greatly. But I think he just saw so much in me. At the time, education was not like a profession you went into. He just saw that there was probably other possibilities that I wasn't considering.
Right.
But I definitely love teaching, and that is my passion, and being in education.
That's awesome. A friend of mine, she was in high school, and she told one of her teachers that she wanted to be a teacher. And he said something to her like, "Oh, you're just a pretty face. You'll never do anything like that." And she was so insulted. And so when she got her degree in teaching, it's like, put the middle finger up. It's like, really? I don't know why people would say stuff like that, but it either fuels the fire or could possibly, guide you in one direction or another. But the power of suggestion is very,
it is very strong, very lasting.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Awesome. Let's see. I am going to have Miss Julia come on. She's going to be here in just a minute. I feel like I'm only half awake today. I'm so sorry, guys. So Miss Julia is coming on, and she is a brand coach. And a lot of us don't quite know what a brand coach is. And that is like a perfect brand, right? Yes,
I struggle a lot with that. So I'm definitely going to be tuning in and listening.
Oh, and she's awesome. She's amazing. So a perfect brand is like Kleenex, right? So my favorite tissue is Puffs, and I use Puffs, but I still call it Kleenex.
Yes.
Right. And that's one of the things, it's just overall, like the McDonald's arch,
yes,
it's recognizable all over, and it would be awesome if we all had our own brand.
Yes.
Yeah. So awesome. I can't wait for her to come on. She'll be up here in just a minute. And then I just want to encourage everybody to engage and share in these interviews, because, how many teachers out there and administrators do you know that are struggling? And so when you share the interviews, people like Michelle could be there in front of their face and inspire them and help them get through their tough times, just like Julia with their business. And a lot of people, it's like, I want to have a brand, and that was one of my struggles is how do I brand myself? I have no idea what that picture looks like. I have the idea, but all of these coaches have tremendous value, whether that is just finding your strengths or finding what lights you up. And so please share these interviews and invite people to watch the interviews. And yeah, so sorry. I'm just having an off day today. I'm so sorry.
You're in Houston, Texas, Robin.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got my own heater going on. And, you know, with the mask and everything. And we have so many fires here. I don't know where you guys are at, but we are really close to California. And California has 27 fires going on. But the sky is so thick with smoke right here. And I think the closest fire is probably 30 miles from here. But they canceled school today because the air quality was super bad yesterday. And it's not great today. But I had several friends that are evacuating in California, and it's so sad. But yeah, and just, you know, we're all going through our own stuff. Yeah. So, all right. I am kind of off today. I'm so sorry.
You are fine. It's, you know, we right now are living in a time that, you know, we're experiencing new things and embracing new things. And one of the things I've really learned over the past several months, and not just since the pandemic, but kind of going back into the classroom, is just to enjoy the moments. And when things don't turn out right, you know, there was that expression, when you have lemons, make lemonade, and just really like learning how to do that. And so, you know, things don't go right. Like we got on today and my camera wasn't working when I logged in. So, you know, it does sometimes give you angst, but I was listening to John Maxwell the other day, and he was talking about how, you know, we perceive stress as bad, but all stress is not bad. You know, so sometimes when things don't work out, you just have to like go with the flow, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're just working through something and learning and, you know, coming out on the other side. What do I do differently? Reflecting on that. And that's growth. And that's a good thing. You know, it's not a bad thing.
No, and sometimes you have to laugh, right? You have to laugh with the growing pain. So yeah, we had some tech issues, and then you know, as we're going through the StreamYard, I realized that the main group this is supposed to go live and is not going live. It's like, what the heck is going on? And then yeah, and so little things like Julia last night, she said, am I coming on Monday or is it tomorrow? Because I never changed the day. And so we're on day 20. I think I changed the day of the week on that little post, on that little graphic. I think I changed it 3 times and I didn't even realize it. And it's like, oh my gosh, I can't even. And so you just have to laugh. You have to laugh at the awkward moments because we all have them.
Yeah, right? So my husband and I, about probably 4 years ago, we just started, every time we saw a sign or a picture or a little cha-cha or whatever that had like laugh or silly or smile, we started like collecting them just to put throughout our house, just to remind us to laugh at ourselves, laugh at what's going on, be silly, smile, you know. So that's just, you just need to do that.
Yeah, and you do, and that's one of the ways that I get through stuff is, you know, you just gotta laugh. And you know, I haven't been perfect on this summit, but you know what, it has been the most rewarding thing that I've ever done, and just having all of you amazing coaches all here. And you know, sometimes there's faux pas, and it's like, what do you do? You know, you just gotta totally laugh at yourself. And so today I had a few awkward moments, but you know,
you're doing amazing. So, I mean, if you have a few awkward moments in 20 days of going live and coordinating all of us, and I mean, that's, you know, like teaching, we focus on those 3 kids that didn't do it. Focus on the goodness that is there and the growth that's happening. It's, I mean, you have impacted so many people. You don't know the ripple effect. I think there's Brandon Burchard has Be the Ripple. That's his tagline of just how much, you know, you ripple out. You don't know. You talk to somebody who showed it to somebody else, who showed it to somebody else. So you're rippling out.
Thank you. I love Brendan Burchard. Hello, Miss Julia.
Hi. Am I on? Okay.
Yeah, you're on right now. So Julia, meet Michelle. Michelle, meet
Hi.
Julia.
Hi, Michelle. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm going to stick around. I'm not going to stick around on camera, but I am going to stick around and listen to you because I'm very excited about the branding that you're going to talk about. So
Cool. Happy to have you. That's one more person that's going to see this.
Yay. And thanks for hanging with me, Michelle, and talking with me through my awkward moment.
You're good.
You just gotta laugh. We're only human. Anyway, okay, and I can bring you up at the end also. And so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna talk with Miss Julia here for a minute, and then we're gonna play her interview, and then we're gonna make sure that you post any questions that you have for Julia in the chat. And then she's also going to stick around for some questions and answers at the end. So how are you doing today?
I'm great. How you doing? You're almost done, right?
Well, I got 11 more days to go.
Yeah.
And I was just talking about, you're all, am I on Monday or tomorrow? I didn't realize I hadn't changed the day of the week in probably the last 17 days. I just changed the day and the date, and I'm all, woo, we're good, and changed the pictures.
Yeah.
So I had to laugh at myself about that. I'm all, I don't know what she's talking about. Why is she talking about Monday?
I just wanted to make sure I was here on the right moment.
Yeah, you are. So how are things in Toronto?
Everything's good. It's a beautiful day here. You can tell the weather's changing already. Like around this week, things start to change and starts to feel like fall. It's already for another month, but it starts to feel a little bit different, a little shorter days and that kind of thing. But it's a full week for me. Lots of stuff like this, actually, which is exactly what I wanted. So that's a good thing, like interviews and teaching communities and stuff like that. So how about you? Have you been able to take a breath during this whole summit?
No, but that's all right. That's all right. I got the pedal to the metal, and and I'm just loving it. And we got more and more interviews. And as we get towards the end of it, I have, on the 28th, on the 29th, I have 5 coaches on that day. So, because it initially started with 60 coaches, and now I think we're at 71 coaches. And so I kind of stack those up at the end. And so, but it's so much fun. And I am just truly loving all of the interviews, and all the coaches are from totally different backgrounds, totally different areas and accents. But all of their hearts are absolutely in the right place. And so I really hope that people understand the value of what a coach can do, because a lot of times outside of the sports arena, people have no idea what's going on. So,
True. And I saw the diversity of coaches that you've had, which is excellent. And the last time we talked, you still wanted 60, but some people hadn't responded and stuff. So I guess that kicked back in and you got another 20 something more.
So I posted, I posted in the Advance Your Reach group. It's like, hey, I need 8 more coaches. And I had just a flood of people. It's like, hey, I'll do it. And so it's like, oh, all right, we're over 70. So why not? Let's go for it. And, and it's awesome. And some of the niches I would have never, ever thought of. I didn't know that there was a teacher coach. I didn't know that there was, there's coaches on all sorts of different, coaches to help somebody go through cancer. How valuable is that? Somebody to help you go through massive loss, like the loss of a spouse or a loss of a business. And thank goodness that we have that huge variety, because it shows how wide open it is. And basically any area that you've ever struggled with is an area that you could coach people on, because we're all connected and we all go through the same things.
Yeah.
So I am excited. So are you ready to see your interview, young lady?
Yeah, I'm ready to see it. So do you want me to share this broadcast?
Yeah, if you want. Sure.
Okay, so how will I do that?
So probably the best way is to do it on your phone. That way we don't have feedback from the live on your computer. So you can do a watch party.
So, okay. So this is coming from your group, right?
Yes.
I'm just trying to keep it straight. So it's the only the inspired group.
Yeah, do that one, because right now I'm doing a watch party in the Coach Summit group. For some reason, it didn't go live in that group today, but it is in the Only the Inspired group, the private one.
Okay, let me find that one. Oh, here it is. onlytheinspired.com Coach Summit.
Yeah,
right?
that one, there's a watch party going on. I don't know if you could do a watch party on top of a watch party, but go to the onlytheinspired.com group.
Okay. There it is. No, that's a page.
There's Only the Inspired page also.
I think I have it here. Let me turn down the volume so it doesn't go crazy. There we are.
All right, there we go. And thanks everybody for dealing with the, technological issues today. But I am super excited to share Miss Julia's interview. She is a powerful coach, and she helps people with very important things. Like I was telling Michelle, the perfect brand would be like Kleenex, right? And I was saying how my favorite tissue, I like the puffs with lotion, but I still call it Kleenex, right? Yeah. And that is the perfect brand where you have it so branded, anything similar to your product, it's called, whatever your brand name is. Like, hey, can I have a Coke when you actually want a Pepsi? But Coke is such a worldwide brand. Yeah, that's what we all want. And wouldn't that be wonderful to have that with our business? So let's find out how Miss Julia can help you do that. So I will have you mute your microphone, and then I'm going to play the interview, and then I'll bring you back up for any questions. If you guys have questions for either Michelle or Julia, put them in the comments, and then we will go through those as after we come back from the interview. So I will see you guys. We have about 34 minutes for this interview, and then we will see you right after. So, all right, I'll see you in a minute, Julia.
Okay, see you there.
This is Robin Leslie with onlytheinspired.com doing another amazing interview with the beautiful Julia Baxter. And so I'm excited to get to know her today. So Miss Julia, in a couple of minutes, describe who you are and how you help people.
Thank you. It's good to be here, Robin. I know that is your first name. Just before we came on, I did that wrong. Yeah, so I live in Toronto, and I normally, in good times, travel all over the world teaching people how to brand themselves like big brands do. And I started doing that more than 20 years ago for big corporations, lots of brands that people know. And it wasn't until I was downsized out and I was figuring out how to run my own business and so on, that finally when I became an online marketer, I realized how many online businesses or business owners or people who wanted to be online didn't know the first thing about branding, or what they knew was outdated, or they were scared to step into it. And I figured out, man, I can do that. In fact, I love that. Of all the things I did in corporate, my favorite part was really digging into brand strategy and helping people grow to massive levels if that's what they want. So that's what I do full time and then some. And I've built that online over the last several years so that my husband and I can do that from wherever we want to be.
Yay. When you get to travel.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Just bring the laptop. I'm good. We're set up on the beach. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you get started in this business? Was it one event or was it a series of events that happened?
Well, becoming self-employed, everybody has that moment that they remember. I definitely remember mine. I was up for a big job interview, and it was around the 5th interview that the headhunter called me and said, they still aren't sure if you're the right candidate or not. We're not sure. We're going to have you come back again. And I had at this point had met everyone I thought I needed to meet in the company. And my confidence was high when I started. And then you start questioning, am I really as good at my job as I think I am? Am I not qualified? Whatever. And I had this total mind shift where I thought, I don't want to be measured by someone else's standards anymore. I don't want someone, and not against having a job. I had one for years and enjoyed it. But I felt like I didn't have enough control over the value the marketplace was putting on what I knew how to do. So that really was the shift for me, saying, that's it. I'm going to be self-employed. I took myself out of the running for that job. And I'm grateful now that I didn't go forward with it. What I didn't know was how much I didn't know about marketing myself online. And we often think we know more than we do about the wrong things. And coming from corporate marketing and big business, I had an inflated sense of how much I knew about that whole thing. I didn't know much about it at all. So I started to make the shift into online marketing when I had to figure out for myself, how does this work? And the internet had completely changed. While I was an employee, of course it was the internet, but it wasn't about my world was not about learning to promote yourself online as an entrepreneur. That's really been in the last, I'd say 5 or 6 years that it seems like everybody we know is trying to do that, right? Mm-hmm. So that was really the second shift was I realized, well, I don't know this. And I'm a full-time marketing person. How is anybody else going to know this? And once I had so many clients just doing, client work, consultant work, before I was fully branded online, I just realized this is more of a job than I ever had before. If I have 5 clients, I have 5 bosses. If I have 6 clients, I have 6 bosses. And my time was really stretched. My husband and I were on a trip in New York City, and we were on this boat cruise. I might have mentioned this to you. We're on this boat cruise going around the Statue of Liberty. I'm Canadian, so it doesn't have the same impact to me that it might to an American. But we know what that stands for. We know what that image stands for. And this client of mine was calling me incessantly, just what they needed. And it was my job as the consultant to help them, but I felt like I didn't have a moment to myself. And that was the shift that made me say, I need to figure out this online leverage where I'm getting paid in my sleep and that kind of thing with a strong brand that I'm not constantly trading dollars for hours because I don't have any time. And when a client needs you, a client needs you. So that's when I got really excited about not only changing how I did business, but I wanted to show other people they didn't have to do it that old way either. And that's the real reason why I do what I do now, is so people can have more choices, be known for what they do best, and live however they choose to.
I love that. Yeah, it's just different aha moments. It's like, okay, I'm not liking the way this is feeling. Yeah, I'm not digging this. I'm on vacation. Leave me alone. But then, when you feel like you're tied to that, and that's sometimes when you got to make those decisions.
Yeah.
I feel you. And, I felt the same way with lots of times I was in different joint ventures and I'd have great ideas and my ideas would get squashed down and it would just piss me off. It's like, really? And I finally got to the point where I was tired of not being able to voice my opinion. And then, those are decisions that you make. It's like, I'm going out. I know I like what I think and other people will. They just might not. So
I know. And sometimes we have this view that, well, we're playing the game and we're being nice, and it's part of the whole deal that it's not just our opinion that matters. It's not that we can't work with other people. I love working with other people, but I didn't want my value in the marketplace, how much money I made or how much time I had to myself, set by somebody else. I wanted to say, this is what I charge. This is how much I'm going to work for it. And if that doesn't work out, well, then it's on me. So that was a big change. And I love showing people when they understand that themselves and they can create something that it sort of is a change from what they didn't like. That is my favorite time.
Good. All right. So describe your ultimate vision for your business.
I really want to help millions of entrepreneurs create world-class profitable brands around what they do best. So often people will ask me about, what should my brand be? Well, we got to dig into that a little bit. I don't know what it is. I know when we start talking about it, what lights you up, what makes you excited, what you're great at, what maybe you're not valuing enough, maybe you're afraid, maybe you think you're not good enough or there's no market for it. I like digging into that, and my vision is to help millions of entrepreneurs who are yet to reach that, really find what is the thing that they are amazing at, and then how do they create, I call it a world-class brand, because we're not playing around. It's not just like a little logo that someone just sort of throws on there just to get it done. We want people to have solid brands that make them money and give them the lifestyle that they deserve, and also helps change the world in the way they want. What's the impact they want to have? So my heart is really with the entrepreneurs who have a purpose. Like, they're not just selling something. I don't work with people who just sell something, because that's great, but you don't really need a brand to do that. People need a solid message and a solid image with a lot of clarity and a plan to help them execute what it is they want. So my vision is to help people do that.
That's great. I've struggled for years with that. If you were to look at my Raising Greatness site, it's ugly. I had, because I'm one of those where you have 5,000 different ideas, and how do you narrow one to figure out what your brand is? And so I struggled with that for a long time. When it comes to Only the Inspired, I have a different vision. It's more in one line versus, so I could do this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And then it's really hard to figure out a brand from that. And so I was lost in that area for a long time. And still, when it comes to my own personal business, am. And so I think what you're doing is very helpful for a lot of people. I didn't know what colors to pick, what the logo should look like, or any of that. And I think there's lots and lots and lots of people who really struggle with that.
You're right. A lot of people do. And it's not necessarily that they're indecisive. It's that, like you said, they have so many ideas and they're not sure which ones should be at the forefront, or more importantly, how do they tie those ideas together? And sometimes they need to let some of the ideas go. I'm the same. I'm a really creative person and I have so many ideas, and we can get kind of down about all the ideas that we didn't do yet, like lists and lists of things that we could be doing. But when we know what our brand is, what our mission is, what our message is, it's a lot easier to then let some of those things go and just do them because we enjoy them, or let them go altogether versus trying to pack them into what we're going to call a brand. But you're right. Most people have a really hard time making it clear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Lots and lots and lots of people.
Yeah.
So what beliefs do you have that set you apart from your competition? And I'm a collaboration versus competition person, but there's lots of brand coaches out there. So what beliefs do you have that kind of set you apart from the rest of them?
I love that question. I actually believe that none of us have any competition. I actually believe that if you're doing what you were meant to do with your purpose, the way you want to do it, yes, we'll all make mistakes, but who are you competing with? Because no one's going to do it the way that you do it. I think healthy competition is, trying to succeed and do better than you did yesterday. And I don't mean to sound fluffy about it. I'm a pretty competitive person, but mostly with myself. And I think I see large brands, ones that on paper, I have no business pretending I'm competing with. But what I want is what they have created. I want the results they've created or the reputation they've created. And any of us can do that. So I don't believe we have competition, and that actually sets me apart from my competition, is I'm not in competition with anybody else, because no one's going to be able to do what I do, the way I do it, the reason I do it, how much I do it, etc. I also believe that every one of us has a special gift, talent, skill, or ability, God-given, that you really can't ignore. And when we do ignore what we're good sometimes they need a little discussion about, well, where do you want your happiness to come from? Where do you want your income to come from? If you're good at something, why can't it be from that? And that is different from some brand coaches and some brand developing and brand strategists, because they're thinking about profit only. They're thinking about beating the competition. They're thinking about forcing a differentiation between you and your competitors instead of really embracing what you do best. So I think that sets me apart from a lot of branding people.
I agree completely. Yeah, you can have 150 relationship coaches and nobody's going to teach exactly the same. Or 150 business coaches, they're all going to have their own unique thing and personality and process. And so I don't believe there's, like you were saying, you're collaborating with people now that you've known and you've never done that before, but how cool is that? And I love that. So what was the hardest thing to overcome when starting your business?
Self-belief. Definitely self-belief. We can all be fairly confident when we're in our comfort zone. That's easy. It's forcing ourselves to do something new, something unknown, something risky, something uncertain. That was difficult in the beginning. Now, if it's not risky, I wonder if it's the right thing. It really, you get used to that muscle, when your comfort zone grows, the more you step out of it, the bigger it gets. So the first time I decided, well, I'm not going to have a job anymore, as simple as that, just not knowing what the business would be, but I'm not going to have a job anymore. That first step was the hardest, just believing that I could figure it out. And now I'm just comfortable knowing I haven't figured it all out, and that's totally cool. Lots that I figured out, but lots that I haven't. So that starting point, I think it's self-belief.
I think we all deal with that at a certain level for sure. Who am I? Yeah. So this next question I think is really important. Some people have it, some people don't. So do you have the support network of friends and family saying, Julia, you need to do this? Or are they going, why would you go out on your own versus doing corporate? Or is this something I need to do and I'm doing it no matter what anybody else says?
So when I started working for myself in 2007, I didn't have what I have now. I didn't have a support system. I worked with all people who were part of the matrix where we all had jobs and we all did sort of similar things, and no one was really going out of that group to do their own thing. Lots of people were doing it, but my friends were work friends, or like I had met them living life the way I used to live it. Once I became an entrepreneur, the longer I did it, the more I got around other people who were doing that too. It's just changing your circle. And not to say I have no friends with jobs, but the people that encourage us often are people who are doing what we want to be doing. So now I absolutely have a support system. It would have been about 6 years ago that I started joining online communities, like paid memberships to things. The amount of people I've met, I met you in an online community.
Mhm.
The number of people that I've met is now astounding to me. I used to think, how am I gonna, we've heard that change your friends or change your friends comment before, but how do people find all these, new friends or new influencers or new partners? And for me, it started by joining some things like paid memberships of professionals who were doing things that I wanted to learn how to do. Now, those are my friends. And it's just, I find online marketers in general, no matter what they're building, we get each other. So whatever we're building, if we're building a business, we have a mutual respect. People who do personal growth find people who do personal growth. So I have no end now to the relationships I find with people who are where I want to be or could just collaborate where we are.
Love that. Yeah, and that's the reason why I ask, is because a lot of my friends, and I have lots of friends, but none of them that I'm around on a daily basis are in that realm, and they don't get it. And so it's like, and so you can't really brainstorm with them, and it becomes lonely. And so,
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, when you do find other people where you could talk about squeeze pages or sales funnels or whatever, and they understand what you're talking about, then you make those connections. It's lonely sometimes when you first start, for sure.
Did you find, I certainly did, but did you find that in the beginning, you weren't sure how many questions were appropriate to be asking either? Because even though we're in like a ClickFunnels group or whatever, you're not used to how much people will help you if you ask. I had a hard time with that. I thought, well, I don't want to wear out my welcome. I want to ask intelligent questions, but these people aren't here to, answer my every need. I found that hard in the beginning. Now I know everybody just asks whatever's on their mind. What was your experience with that?
So a lot of times when I feel like I would ask a question, then I might get 20 people wanting to sell me what they do.
Right.
And so it's like, can we have that conversation and just brainstorm and not, or can I not talk to you unless I pay you for your services? Well, and I'm not asking, for you to help me with my brand, but just to brainstorm. And so in some groups that I've been in the past, that is what I got a lot. And so, yes, finding those questions where they're not going to go, hey, I can help you with that. Sign up for my email list, or,
Yes.
But then that is all us trying to find our customer avatar, our ideal client. And when you're asking the question that they have the answer to, but yes, there's a lot of people, and they appreciate, just taking 5 minutes and brainstorming on their idea, or this is what I see is wrong, or, maybe you can improve that, and then light bulbs go on. It's like, oh my gosh, thank you. But there are a certain amount of people out there where it's like, well, I can help you. Here you go. Sign up for this. And so that's been a lot of my experience. And then, but then there's been so many helpful people. So there's both. So what is your favorite thing about your business?
I love when stuff just works. When you create, so I know some of your audience are online marketers and some aren't. So picture anything you've created, and when it's not, like if you build something from IKEA and it doesn't actually stand up, you have to start over. That happens all the time in business. When things just work the first time, or when you feel like I've done something similar often enough that this slightly new thing works the first time, then you know that you've grown. You know that you've figured out some things, that you're smarter than you used to be, that you're not the person you used to be. I love when stuff works the first time. Bigger than that, I love when it happens for my clients, because that's why we're doing this. we're all doing it to make a living too, but for a lot of us, if we're not helping our clients, if we're not actually solving the problem we say we solve, then what's the point? So I have a couple of clients. Today I got a video. I have a client who does everything by video. He sent me a Facebook message as a video thanking me for something. And I could just cry. He's so grateful for the results that he's getting. That, I mean, I really can't compare. I love my own success. Yeah, that's fun. But knowing that someone else is feeling that and they're getting emotional and they're having big changes, it was also a guy, that it just totally touched me. And it changed my day. It changed my day when it's like, thank you for what you've been able to help me do. This is what that's really doing in my life. That's really what it's all about. That is absolutely my favorite part.
Yay. Awesome.
Yeah.
So who inspires you? Oh, wait, hold on. What inspires you? What are you passionate about? And it doesn't have to be business.
I really am passionate about branding, or I wouldn't do it. However, I'm also passionate about music and art and travel. Like I still, when I talk to clients about figuring out why they're really doing something, we don't want to beat that to death. But as much as I love branding, and I get a lot of satisfaction from that in all kinds of ways, I'm using that skill that I have to, it's kind of selfish. We're all kind of selfish. We use the thing that we love so that we can feel good about doing that. I do that to get paid so that we can live a lifestyle that we enjoy, truly. So my husband and I travel extensively, or we did before this whole world issue thing going on. And I love, love, love going to new places, new cultures, and living like a local. I love that. So we traveled a lot over the last couple of years. Right now we're homebodies. And when we can, we'll get back to traveling because that's what we love, and we can show other people how to do that too.
Do you have a favorite place that you've been to?
Switzerland.
Switzerland?
Hands down, Switzerland. We've been 3 times. Each time is a little longer. And last year we spent an entire month in Switzerland, right outside of Zurich. And some places just feel like you can keep going back, and that's one of ours.
Very cool. I've never been. I've been to Canada, to Niagara Falls. That's as out of the country as I've ever been.
Yeah.
So who inspires you?
Well, Oprah for sure. Part of that is how she built, the incredible business that she has. It's also who she is as a person, what she overcame and all of that. She's kind of the iconic example of that rags to riches story, but also giving from her success. Like a lot of us admire her for that. So I certainly would put Oprah there. But I love people like Dean Graziosi, who's a great real estate investor, and he teaches personal development. Tony Robbins. I like Darren Hardy, although he's a lot stiffer than some others. I love him for his productivity learning and his mindset stuff. I like Lisa Nichols, who is a great speaker. There's so many like that. I love Chalene Johnson for the business that she's created and the impression she leaves when she walks out of a room. Lewis Howes is one of my favorite people. I'm modeling a lot of my business after Lewis. He's got a great story too. So I am inspired predominantly by business people. Richard Branson, I'm reading a book by him right now. But it's not just because of the business, because I'm really not, I wouldn't even consider myself all business. I like my business. I'm not really a business person by nature. I love people that have figured things out and do something really cool with it. So those are the people who really inspire me most. They tend to be business people.
I love it. Okay, so last question, big question. If you could leave one tip or one golden nugget for the people listening, and it was the only thing you could say, and your only chance to say it, what would that be?
That everyone does have a gift, a talent, a skill, an ability that they can do more often, that they can profit from, and that they can change the world with. And I would want people to brand themselves around that thing, whether they ever thought they could or not. It's possible.
That's great. Well, and a lot of people don't believe that they have any special gifts because it's not apparent. It's not, shining. I'm not this fantastic artist or whatever, but yeah, helping them find that, because we all have it.
Everybody has it. You just got to look for it and trust that it's there. That sounds very kind of airy-fairy, but if you work at identifying what that is and using it, it's kind of nothing like it, I think.
Great. Is there anything else you want to share before we talk about your giveaway?
Yeah, I think it's really impressive what you're building, really cool what you're building, and why I wanted to be part of this discussion with you is because it really does align with what a lot of entrepreneurs value, which is collaboration. We talked about this before we recorded, but I would like for your audience to consider collaboration as a tool, yes, but also necessary for your own growth, for developing relationships unselfishly, for moving your own business forward as a default almost. But I think collaboration, it's interesting. As a branding person, all I want is for people to stand out and be known for what they do best, but not at the expense of being able to work with other people. So if you value what other people do, value their skills and gifts and talents, you don't have to be in competition with them, and you can create new things just by being open to collaboration. So I'd love for people to think that through too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, just what we can all accomplish together is so much more than what you could do fighting, tooth and nail to build your own business. If everybody could, just join in that huge thing, it would be so much better. And, you might have great branding ideas, and somebody might be a great graphic design person, or you could work together and it'll be mutually beneficial. Or, there's so many things that we could do together that just lifts up what Natalie Lucier says, rising tides lifts all boats. And that'd be awesome. Yes. And, and that's a huge part of what I want to do. And I want it to be in the Only the Inspired. The collaboration part is you can ask a question and have people go, how can I help you? Instead of how can I get paid from this?
Yeah.
Because, it's all going to benefit everybody. And a big trigger for me was the Blue Ocean Strategies. Have you ever read that book?
Yeah.
And, competition going out there marketing is red ocean. Everybody's fighting for their little piece. But if you create something where everybody, there doesn't need to be competition, and we could still make that live, our dreams come true, but it'll be a lot more fun.
More fun, and also it lets you stay in your lane. I mean, if you say that you're good at these three things, you don't need to be stepping on other people's territory. Let them be good at their three things. Just stay in your lane. You're going to get better at what you already do great. So yeah, I'm all for collaboration. I think it's awesome.
Yay. Awesome. So you are going to give away a world-class brand workshop. Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, that's actually a good time to talk about it. A lot of people that cross my path tell me, I don't know what my superpower is. I don't know what I'm great at. I don't know what I would create from this. What is my brand? And I can't solve a brand for someone until they're willing to accept that there is greatness there, that they're good at something and something that they love. So I have this 5-day free workshop for people to learn 5 days of lessons that'll take them through some exercises on how to find that. What is the thing that you're looking for? I talk a little bit more about what branding really is, so that it's not so heavy and it's not so pressurized. And there's an opportunity, if they want, they can pick up a workbook to help them work through it too. So over 5 days, they discover what is their superpower, how do they monetize it, and what are they going to do with it.
Awesome. And where would they go to do that?
It's brandstudio.online/5 days, number 5 days.
Cool. So, and I always spell these out just in case. So Brand Studio, BRANDSTUDIO.online, ONLINE, and then / the number 5, and then days, DAYS. And yeah, 5-day workshop. That's awesome. That's an awesome giveaway. So I appreciate you being here very much. You are absolutely beautiful, and I love what you're doing. I think you're going to help those millions of people, and maybe I can help you help those millions of people.
Thank you.
Yeah, and for everybody watching, you know, if you're struggling with actually finding your voice and finding what you're really good at and knowing how to brand yourself because you can't narrow down the 15 things that are on your brain, maybe Julia is your girl. So please share this video because there's lots of us out there who know we want to be out there and can't narrow that down and don't know what our brand is. And trust me, I've struggled with that lots and lots and lots. So she's doing amazing things. So thank you very much. And we will see you guys next time.
I'm on.
Okay. So what was that like for you?
I was saying in the chat, and then I realized I was just chatting to you, how strange it is to watch your own stuff back. I guess that's how celebrities feel. So we'll just go with that. But it's just, you're watching your weird facial reactions to things, you know, but I stand by everything I said. I still think you asked great questions, and everything that I shared truly is what I want people to feel inspired by and led by and empowered by. So I'm really happy with what we discussed for people.
Nice. So a couple questions. You said, so actually all of your comments are actually in the and I added
public
some
in the stream as well. When I shared it, I added some there too.
Perfect. So exactly what all do you do besides, all right, so branding. So do you help people come up with their logo? Do you help people do their graphics? What all, or is it just strictly messaging, or is it all the above?
That's not, a lot of branding people don't do that. Many people who are graphic designers and only do graphic design for businesses, they might say, I do branding. And that's not incorrect, but it's a part of branding. Then there are people who do brand strategy, brand planning, brand development, which is the business side of things. And they would say that they do branding, also correct. Then there are people who do both and really pull those things together. So that's what I do. And there aren't as many who do both because they're just different disciplines, but I do both. And it's advantageous to someone who is wanting to grow their brand that they have either a person or a group of people, like get someone who can do both or someone who can do one half and the other person does the other half. It's the same for websites. There are people who do website development, which is all the coding stuff. And then there are website designers that make it look good. And then there are some people who do both. So as a business, you want your brand to grow. You want your message to be clear. You want your brand to make you money. So you need some planning around your marketing and around your business. And you want it to look good. So I always say to people, you need all of those things. I'm someone who does both, but if you're not with me, you can put together a team of people who can help you solve all of those things. So I do all of those, and it starts with strategy. It starts with, what is your message? What are you trying to accomplish? And then the visuals and stuff should be supporting that, but that comes last.
Got you. So, and like I said, I've struggled in this area before. With Only the Inspired, it's one of the first times I've ever been really clear with what I want it to look like. And I think part of that is because it's not all just me. It's everybody. But I want, since you're a branding person, my ideal would be for people to resonate with Only the Inspired, where they're so proud of the community that they're privileged to be in it, where they'd want to tattoo that on their arm.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so that was a big thing when we're looking at different logos and stuff, right? It's like, so I love the meaning of the lotus flower. It's the lotus flower could grow, 50 feet down in the mud and come out with these beautiful flowers, and it could be dormant for a long time too. And it is just basically rebirth and coming up from the ashes almost. And, Only the Inspired, I want people to say, I am one of those inspired people. I am one of those people that wants to change the world. And I really wanted it to be such a powerful message, just like people tattoo Harley Davidson on their arm, right? Because they're proud. There's like, I have a Harley, and that is a privilege. It's they feel proud to share that, just like, Raiders or 49er fans or whatever. I wanted people so proud to be part of this community where they would tattoo. And so, and if you look at my logo, for one, the flower would be just a nightmare for somebody to try and tattoo.
It's a lot of lines, yes.
Lots of lines, but it was beautiful. It's like, oh my gosh, I absolutely love that. But I love the font also, and I could see the font, you see some of those like armbands or whatever. So that was one of my things. I wanted people to be so proud to be part of this community because it means so much, and we're changing the world. And that was one of the ideas that I had about Only the Inspired. So I just wanted, and I, with Raising Greatness Coaching, first of all, it's kind of a horrible name, but it had two meanings. But
I don't think that's a horrible name.
Well,
no.
So at first I wanted to inspire kids, right? So kids don't necessarily have their own choices on things until they're an adult. So I wanted to help raise great kids. But at the same time, you can't raise great kids unless you help raise the greatness in the parents. So that's where kind of Raising Greatness came from. But I, it never occurred to me that anybody would ever want to tattoo that on themselves, but Only the Inspired. And I've had a couple of the coaches going, just the name made me want to say yes. And that's what that is part of the brand that I want to create for Only the Inspired is, I'm proud to wear the shirt, whether you tattoo it on your arm or not. And I don't have any tattoos, but that is I want people to be proud to be part of this community, whether you're a coach or a member or whatever, because I truly believe that we're going to make a worldwide impact, and not individually, all together as a collaborative community. And part of that is the inspiring the world. And another part of that is the charities. And so, anyways, I wanted to throw that out since you're a branding coach.
Well, what's cool is you've done something smarter than I think you know. So what that is you already have a vision. And I knew when we talked about me potentially being part of what you do, it was clear to me that you had a vision. The brand, whatever brand we create, is basically an easy to understand package for other people to buy into the vision. So if you were to send somebody a 50-page document describing your vision, they would understand it. If you were to have a really powerful brand, message and visuals together, they would get it faster. That's the point. I mean, you still want to have all the strategy and all the business plan and all of that stuff that nobody wants to do, but behind the scenes, it happens. All of the work that you've put into what you've created can never be shown in a logo. It can never be shown in a tattoo. There's just so much more. But a really strong brand will sum it all up and present it in a consistent way over and over and over everywhere it shows up, so that people can really understand it without all that explanation. Like Nike is our greatest example. All branding people use Nike as the example, because behind the scenes, they have all kinds of mission statements and documentation and internal communication about who they are, what they stand for, their audience, etc. But what the audience sees is what they stand for, which is just do it. That what they see, or what we see, is a company that's inspiring us to go out and be our best form of athlete, or our active self, or our empowered, strong self. And it's why their tagline is so good, is because it's about the audience. So you started with all the right stuff. Is I'm going to paint this vision for myself and for everyone who comes into Only the Inspired. And then I'm going to do what I can to encapsulate that in the branding. The branding is the message and the visuals together. Like, that's sort of the simplest way to look at it. So if you want to refine it, we could talk about that another time. But the way you went about it is exactly what I would tell people to do, is get clear on your vision first, get clear on your message, your purpose, and then do any kind of visuals or whatever that needs to communicate that in a blink. And that's what the Nike swoosh does, and everything that they do, and big brands that we know. So I love that your vision is for people to feel so good about your brand that they tattoo it on themselves. I actually have clients who have done that. Once we have, not with my brand, but theirs, that once we've figured out what it is, they've gotten a tattoo of it. And that's ultimate validation. I'm totally with you that they've bought into your vision. How cool that is. So yeah, let's all go get tattoos of this.
Heck yeah. Yeah. And so that is, and, you know, and I'm being very transparent, because there's lots of people here trying to build their brand. And so a lot of people have one ideal customer, right? Yeah. So I have multiple. So I have the coaches are an ideal customer. And then I also have people who are inspired. And so what I have struggled with the messaging is, you know, do I talk about the coaches, or do I talk about the benefits to the members, or how do I mix that in? Because I feel, and then there's also the charities and the community. And so I have struggled with streamlining, and I feel a lot of times I over explain things, but I'm a why person. I want to know why. Tell me why. Don't tell me just three little words. Tell me why. And so I think I over explain things sometimes, and maybe don't get that message across, because it's so, I know what it means in my brain, but that simple, in an instant thing, that is something that I'm looking for. And I think all of us are looking for, where they see our logo or whatever, they know exactly what that means, just like the Nike logo. Yeah.
There is some, and Nike didn't become instantly recognizable, right? If they were to just put a swoosh on something and no one knew what they were back in the 70s, then it wouldn't have the impact that it has now. They have built it over time with consistent messaging, consistent advertising. They've stayed in their lane. You don't see Nike all of a sudden making beverages or opening restaurants. They're very clearly about athletic gear and who they serve, etc. So your point around multiple targets, I think you have one clear target. It's the people we're talking to now, though the people that you collaborate with bring something to the content of it. And I know what you mean, because you're building your business with that collaboration with coaches like me and the others that have been on. So that's the B2B play where you're my business to your business. Here's how we can work together. But the overarching theme is that only the inspired. So if you were to get super clear on one brand message that would appeal to both, just stay on your purpose. And this is for everybody watching. We all have people we want to work with, projects that we want to do, and then we have a bigger message that's intended for our buyer, that kind of thing, or our long-term customers. And it's easy to want to say it all and then get all jumbled up, and the person who's listening might not know. We always say that a confused person doesn't buy, or a confused person does nothing. And it's usually our fault as marketers that we're not clear. It's clear here, but it's not clear here. And it's not clear on our site or on our social channels. So the job of a brand is to make that crystal clear and give yourselves a break. If you don't have it all figured out, well, you're just not a branding professional. Like, you're good at your thing. That's something people often ask me is, well, when is this going to become second nature to me? It doesn't have to be, because the thing that you're doing is the thing you're doing. If a lawyer is good at being a lawyer, it won't ever be expected that he or she would then become a brand expert just to promote the fact that they're a great lawyer. So that's when you need to collaborate with other people or hire people. You hire designers, you hire coaches, whatever it is. And that's the whole benefit of coaching, is that you don't have to become an expert in everything. You hire the experts to help you with that. So back to multiple targets, we kind of all have that. If we're building a business, we have our audience, and then we also want to be appealing to the right partners or stakeholders or shareholders or designers, staff, right? Every company is reaching multiple targets. So how you do that is you create one cohesive message about your mission. Who is the end user? And in this case, it would be the customers who are watching this. Who's the end person who wants to pay your business to get information from you, in this case?
Mm-hmm.
And then by being clear on, well, who are we? Who is only the inspired? Or who is Robin? That I always say you can't act like a brand, you just are. So you're going to clearly communicate what your business stands for, and the right people, like those of us who are wanting to work with you, we show up because we're like, I love what she's doing. I see myself in that. I don't have to be part of your business to know that I see myself in how you work. Mm-hmm. So I hope that helps people watching. It's just one message, one audience, one idea, and the right partners will see themselves in you.
And I love what you said, that you don't have to, I don't have to become an expert in branding, because that's why there's branding experts that can help you. Yeah. Right. And you don't have to be an expert marketer. The part of my message is I'm marketing for the coaches. Yeah. I am not that marketer. I'm going to have professional marketers that do that part, because I know that is not my strength. But I know there are people where that is their mad skill. And so, that is not something I'm personally going to do, because I know that is not a strength of mine. And some people had that question. And so that is the beauty of connecting all these people, is because you should only, just like you said in the video, you should only stay in your 3 lanes. You're good at your 3 things. Be really badass at those 3 things, and have other people
time to do more. I mean, it's exhausting just being good at one thing.
Yeah. No, and I get that. And we should really, do the things that light us up. And you said, I love what I do. And that's exactly what you should do. You should only do what you love to do. And sometimes we have to learn things that are, all right, I have to learn tech enough to get this done. That doesn't mean I love tech.
Exactly. And it doesn't mean you're now going to change everything so that you teach tech either.
Exactly.
We see that all the time, where people say, well, I learned this skill in order to run my business. Now I'm suddenly going to go teach that skill. You could, But what were you teaching before you learned that skill? What? You don't need to change just because I'm no tech expert now because I've shown up on this broadcast. I don't need to teach people how to do this, though I know about it and I can send them information. But yeah, we all just want to stay in our lane and leave room on the highway for everybody else to stay in theirs.
Well, and you were one of the reasons why we are here right now, because it's like I was talking to you about Zoom or whatever. You're all try StreamYard. And so, yeah, I signed up for StreamYard that day, because I tried it out. And so, yes, so I appreciate that. And a couple of people did that. But yeah, and I just love connecting with everybody. And I love what you're doing. And I think it's amazing. And and I hope people take you up on that 5-day workshop. I think that is amazing.
I do too. People get real clarity. And if you're watching this and you're thinking, where do I start? That's why I created that. We all have those moments. I mean, I don't have the answers for everybody, but on the questions that keep coming up, content creators, we're trying to look for those patterns, right? When people keep saying, oh, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. And we know how, then that's our cue to create something that the marketplace is saying that they need. And you've done the same thing here by meeting all of us coaches who say, we like to work together. We don't need to be paid for it all the time. We like to collaborate and serve each other and help. Like that's what coaches do, just by nature. That's why we become coaches. So you saw the need for us to come together in a new way, and you created something cool with the whole thing. So watch what Robin's doing, just doing exactly what every business owner can be doing.
Well, and so to that point, the other need that I saw was tech and marketing were two of the biggest weaknesses for coaches out there.
Yeah.
And they could be two of the biggest hurdles to actually launch your coaching business. And so from trial and error of my own thing, I was a relationship coach trying to learn how to do tech and marketing. And I was doing that so much where I wasn't actually in my superpower. I wasn't actually coaching because I'm trying to figure out this other thing. And so I wanted to create a space where every coach could be in their superpower, no matter what that is, and then remove that tech and marketing from their hurdle, just remove those hurdles so they could shine in what they're best at.
Yeah.
And try and support them in that. And at the same time, inspire and help all of the other people that want to heal, that want to grow, that want to connect and collaborate. So yay.
Yeah. What a relief for the person who's like just had to figure out the tech stuff and that's too much for them. I mean, when that's not what your main interest is, it can really slow you down. I mean, we learn what we have to, but for someone to step in and say, you don't have to learn as much as you thought, let's just get down to business and do your thing. That's going to be a real blessing to a lot of people.
Yes. So I appreciate you being here. And if you want to stay around for a minute, I'm just going to announce who we have tomorrow. So tomorrow we have two of the coaches that are going to be on Only the Inspired. And I am super excited about both of their interviews tomorrow. So Amber Mirza, she is a business strategist. And so she helps you see those things that you can't see. She kind of reads between the lines, and I absolutely love what she's doing. And she's a strategist, not a branding coach, but just love her. And she just lights up when she talks. And I am super excited about showing her interview and having her on tomorrow. And then I have my dear friend, Reg Lenny. So Reg Lenny, I met, it was 2014, I think. And I met him in some coaching group, and I actually wanted to help coach him. And he, we teamed up for a couple years, and I absolutely love this man. He is amazing. He's got such a cool story. He is a health coach, but he is so much more than that. He does body work. He knows 30 different modalities on health, but he's also a high performance coach. He's an executive coach. He's got so many mad skills. And so I'm super excited to have Reg on tomorrow, both Amber and Reg Lenny. So it's going to be an amazing day. And I won't fumble as much as I did today. It was a fumbly day.
We all have those. I didn't notice.
It was right before you got on, so yeah. And Michelle, she kept me going. She kept me online. But you know what? I'm out here in perfect action, and that's sometimes what you got to do. And we're not going to be perfect every day. So, but I hope you guys tune in tomorrow for that. And please invite people to join this coach summit so they can listen to people like Julia and Michelle and Reg and Amber and all of these amazing coaches, because we all have our own gifts and we all want to share and help you with your gifts. Let's see. And if you guys want to reach out to Julia or any of the coaches, reach out to them in the group under the announcements tab where the guy's swinging his jacket around and it says giveaways. That is where I'm going to have all of the contact information for Julia and Michelle and all of the other coaches. And so you could find that right there. And so thank you so much for being here, and we will see you guys tomorrow.